People think that you and I do not know that Aaron Rodgers is not officially signed to the Steelers. Did Joy and Key know that he doesn't have to be there because he's not actually signed to the Steelers?
Is that how they sound?
How do you have this job if you don't know that Aaron is not officially there?
For those people that are trolling me and Joy, listen to what we say. No sound bites on the internet. Just do that for me.
Since he's not signed to the Steelers and has no reason to be there because he doesn't actually work there,
oh, God.
Which I just found out, thank you, Twitter.
See what?
Are the Steelers doing more damage than good by waiting on Aaron Rodgers?
Here's what I would say. They're making themselves look real silly if they don't have an open line of communication and understanding of when he's going to sign the damn contract and be in. Then you look at it, if it was me and I was in the front office, I gave him 24 hours extended.
Yeah.
Based on, yes, I got to go on and move on now.
You've been giving him a lot of grace.
But if it's no understanding, it got to be an understanding, though, Joy, that I'm going to be here at this time, this day, not the I don't know if I want to play. I haven't made my mind up yet. I'm still trying to decide. I'm not going to play that game with Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to move on at this point. I'm going to start to look for Kirk Cousins or some other type of potential option that could be readily available for me. Hell, I may call Kansas City and say, hey, you want to trade Carson Wentz to me? There's all type of other options that I would be looking at instead of dancing around with Aaron Rodgers every other day. That's just me if I was in the front office.
Man, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You had an opportunity to draft a quarterback for insurance in the draft. And then we're sitting here, day 2 of OTAs, talking about when is Rodgers going to show up or if he's going to show up. You didn't sign Fields. You let Russ go. And now we're sitting here with
Mason Rudolph.
With Mason Rudolph. I mean, if that's the direction, why go out and sign DK? You know, I just don't understand what's going. I don't know what he's thinking. You know, he got his money, but I'm like, what direction is Pittsburgh? Where do they go from here? It almost makes you think like if I'm Coach Tomlin, I'm thinking like this may be the end of the road. They've never gave him the quarterback he's wanted since he's lost Roethlisberger. And we're at a point where he's willing basic teams to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So what motivation would I even have as coach at this point?
I mean, I've been on the bandwagon from the jump, but this is a disastrous choice. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Forget the fact that they had Justin Fields, and we'll talk about him in a second. They let him walk out the door, and then they had Russ. But you're doing all this shenanigan for someone who's probably only going to play 1 year there. So you go through all of this, and then next year you're right back in the same position without a quarterback. You're going to make a trade if he doesn't come for what, Kirk Cousins, and then you're giving up pieces to get a guy that
ain't gonna cost you nothing, though.
Sure, but
for 1 year again.
1 year, maybe 2 again. You're still going to be in the same spot where you need a franchise quarterback.
That's correct.
You didn't draft anybody.
That is correct.
There were clearly more quarterbacks in the draft than we thought there were, because a lot got drafted and not in the order that we thought they were going to be. So some teams had some faith in these young guys. I don't get what
They didn't take a QB at all?
I don't get what the plan is later in the draft.
Somebody late in the draft.
But for your future, like, what is the plan? And Aaron Rodgers not being there at OTAs because he doesn't work there yet is crazy to me, because why doesn't he work there yet? What's the agreements? I understand he's an experienced guy, but you have no experience in this building with these players and these coaches in this system. So what's the holdup? Is there, like, you get extra time? Do we not all have the same 24 hours in a day? I mean, you guys tell me. You played. When you go to a new team and you have an expectation of contributing, which, I don't know, the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers should have, with Mike Tomlin as the coach who has never had a losing season, an organization that is expected to be, at the very least, making the playoffs and winning playoff games, which they haven't been doing. wouldn't you want to get in the building earlier and just, like, I don't know, do everything you can to give yourself an advantage in a very competitive league where there's, like, young guys who are way better than you?
Well, the line of communication has got to be there between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers.
I guess we keep saying that.
No, I'm saying if he's communicated with them and they've communicated with him about when he needed to report after he signs his contract, for those people out there that think that we don't know what we're talking about, and that communication is there, then I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. As long as the communication is there. Because OTAs is important, but there's only six to 8 of those. And then you go into mandatory minicamp. That's more important to me than the OTAs if they've already had a conversation about when he is supposed to sign and report.
What else are you doing?
Well, he just did something on TV yesterday, I thought I saw.
How is that helping you be a better quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
He probably feels he doesn't need OTAs nearly as bad as some other quarterbacks.
Well, I hope he plans on winning playoff games in Pittsburgh then. Because if he doesn't this all seem a bit silly?
No, Pittsburgh looks real stupid to me right now because coaches that I've been around in organizations and things of that nature, they want the players there now. They want them now, right now. Nothing's holding it up. Financial deal is done in terms of structure and what it's going to be. There's none of that. But what I would do if I was a beat writer in Pittsburgh and I was there at OTAs and I had an open session with the coaches of the front office at some point, I would ask them, did you guys come to an agreement on when he is supposed to sign and arrive? That's what I would ask. And I don't know if that question has ever been asked or posed to the people in Pittsburgh to get that answer.
I don't understand it.
Maybe the people in the basements that's going at us on the internet could tell us.
Man.
Joy Taylor and Keyshawn Johnson.
Come on, Joy.
From Aaron's potential new team to his old team, the Jets are starting fresh with a new culture established by head coach Aaron Glenn. He's got a young core with Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and Mason Taylor. And Glenn is embracing the youth that's on his squad. So how successful will this Jets young core be in 2025? Keyshawn Johnson.
I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to be fine because all coaches play.
Well, you think they're going to win the division?
I do. I think they'll be fine. We're talking about just a young core, too.
Yeah.
All successful head coaches play young dudes. Literally. Think about it. They all play young guys that can contribute and help them in certain roles. So Aaron Glenn and the Jets are no different. You mentioned Justin Fields at 26 years old. You got Breece Hall at 24, Garrett Wilson at 25. You got Sauce Gardner at 25, Mason Taylor at 21. All of these guys have played significant time in the National Football League, except your nephew and Mason Taylor, which he'll be playing here in September. They all done played.
Their right tackle is a rookie as well.
And the right tackle is going to be a rookie. But when you look at young guys, they help you. I was young when I started, clearly. Eventually, I became a veteran player, but also was a young, seasoned guy because I got the reps. Same thing with Paul. Paul started playing young in Boston, and eventually he was a seasoned young player, but also was a veteran. And that's exactly what you're going to get. Young dudes can play. That's the bottom line. That's why they were drafted where they're drafted, paid what they were paid, and that's why some of these guys are on the roster doing the things that they do. I don't understand how people think when you have a young team, that's a problem. No, young dude, everybody is young. You can't win with a bunch of old heads. You just can't. We see that all the time.
Well, I think you want a mixture of veterans and young players.
Young players, guys that are in the league beyond 3 years
are veterans.
That's not young.
Yeah.
That's not young at all. I want you to learn how to get to the stadium as a rookie. That second year, I need you you got to the stadium, now I just need you to learn how to play sport, whatever that is, football. By the time you get to that third year, I need you to be on the edge or in Pro Bowl type all-pro conversations.
Yeah.
That's where I need you to be, because when you get to that third year and you're not in them conversations, you're probably not going to be on the team. Probably not any good. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now you bring in some younger dudes that's a little bit younger than them as the younger dudes start to get older. And then you get an older, maybe you got an older left tackle like Quentin Williams is an older veteran.
Yeah,
defensive
he's going into his 7th season.
7th season, but seasoned. And he's still young. And he's seasoned. He got a beard too, I think, Paul.
You do.
I think he got a beard, big old D tackle.
Rookie beard?
No. He's going into his 7th year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he got a beard.
Yeah, he got a beard.
The incels are making me lose my voice from yelling. How successful?
But he's only 27.
Yeah. I like the core. I mean, like Key said, with Fields given the opportunity to finally start full time and with a young core, I think they're going to be very competitive. I like Aaron Glenn. I like the culture. You know, from his interviews, you can tell he's a no-nonsense type of coach. I think he'll be able to shape a young group because that's what you want. When you're a new head coach, you want a young team. You know what I'm saying? That's so you can mold them and give them an identity based on your attitude and what you want to bring. So I like them to be competitive. I like them to be better than they were last year. I'm looking at the schedule now. Man, Key, I got them for about 8, maybe 9 wins. You know, that's
Big Mace.
That's an improvement, and they could fight for the division based on how good Fields plays this year. So I expect them to be competitive. I expect the culture to look like something respectable around there. I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to compete, man.
Well, to your point, Key, you've got Justin Fields going into his 5th season. Breece Hall in his 4th. Garrett Wilson in his 4th. You've got
Sauce in his 4th.
Sauce is going into his 4th. Quentin Williams going into his 7th. Elijah Vera-Tucker going into his 5th. So they're a young team, but they're past that 3-year.
Yeah. They all know how to get to the stadium.
Yeah, yes, they're past that 3-year threshold that we're talking about, where you're like really a veteran. So they have a good mixture of young players, which Aaron Glenn is right. It is a young man's game. We're going to be critical of a team that's too old because then you're concerned about all kinds of other things. The experience part of it will come to play when Coach Glenn starts to put together the culture and the system, and they start coming together as a team. But yeah, they have a very exciting young core. What their young core is and what they've added to it this year, this is what we've been talking about with the Jets for the past couple of years with Aaron Rodgers and why the expectations were so high for that team because of their young core and adding a player like Aaron Rodgers, assuming that he was going to play the way that...
It was an old team last year.
But I'm saying this young core here was there last year and the year before that. Sauce was there, Quentin Williams was there, you know, like Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, like they were there in the building. They had that ability to balance that veteran presence with a young core. So now they're really just leaning into the youth of it all, which I'm excited to see. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.